I've been to India twice, not counting the times I renewed my visa. A year and a half total. The first time I went, I was there for like 11 months. And I left, of course, came back home, and I always regretted not having gone to the Bhairava, they say Bhairo temple in Varanasi, Bhairava. It's the fierce aspect of Shiva. There was a book I had read while in India the first time that talked about people who know they'll go to that temple. And so I always said if I go back to India, I had spent a lot of time in Varanasi, so I knew I liked that town a lot. And I said, if I ever go back, I'm going to go to that temple for sure. Well, I went back to India, and I went back to Varanasi. And I said, where's the Bhairava temple? They said, Bhairo. Bhairava? Bhairo. All right, well, I got there. And as luck would have it, it was on a feast day for Bhairava. And I thought it was real lucky. But a lot of people were going to the temple that day. I've been to a lot of temples, but that's the only time I went to a temple as a person going to a temple. And it was kind of mystical. It was disorienting in a little ways because you get in line and then in India, sometimes you'll see people with like these lines on their head, like sandalwood lines, especially the Shiva worshippers. And I just thought it was decoration. Line 1, line 2, line 3. But this guy had put his hand in this sandalwood paste and smeared it on my head like this, and it left stripes. So that's where it comes from. It's basically going like this with leaves the stripes. I mean, they formalize it now and they do the stripes and they put the dot and everything. But so I went to the temple, went through the temple hustle, all this. I get back to my room and I say, God, I seriously was praying. I said, God, come on. I've got skills. I'm a reasonably intelligent person. I have no responsibilities. Tell me what to do. Just show me the path I should take. And I got a really clear image. Go back to Lincoln, Nebraska. Open a tattoo shop next to your friend's smoke shop. Live at your mom's house. Because at the time, my mom was thinking of moving either to Dallas or Atlanta, and she didn't know what to do with the house, and this and the other thing with her work, and blah, blah, blah. And then my friend, he had a barber shop next to his shop, and he was going to kick them out and renovate it as a tattoo shop. But it was all in process. Everything was like blah, blah, blah. But I was showing this and giving this information very, very, very clearly. Very, very, very directly. So I said, well, hey, all right, whatever. I get back to Lincoln eventually. Sure enough, my friend formally offers me a newly renovated tattoo shop, $1,200 a month, good to go, with an employee who happened to be a person I went to high school with, good tattooer, all ready to go, in my lap. Said, here you go. He formally offered it to me twice. Well, me and my occasionally subpar wisdom said, I'm going to go back to Las Vegas. The thing is I have this opportunity to go study in Europe. Living expenses aren't paid for, but school and tuition, flight a year, it's really an amazing opportunity. I said, well, I'm going to go back to Vegas. I was saving $1,000 or $2,000 a month in the bank, no stress, no worries. What are you going to do? Open a business, start a business, it's all this stuff and everything. I said, I'm just going to go save up some money and go to Europe. Well, I got back to Las Vegas, and my roommate said, give me 6 months notice and you can have your room back. Well, I'd given him 6 months notice, and the guy who was living there was just about to move out. For like half a year, he was just about to move out. I was on the couch for a very long time. In fact, ultimately, I moved, and then I moved back. I'm actually roommates there now again. And then the place I was working, my boss had said, hey, you always have a place here. So I said, all right, yeah, I just took that for granted. And then I got back and he had hired somebody else. So I did have a job there, but I didn't have nearly as many hours as I did before. And as silly as it sounds, and in fact, I was incredulous for a little bit, but no, I think it actually happened. The guy who was, the tattoo shop was in a big building. And we were the only business left in this building. It was all being renovated. And the guy renovating it wore like the voodoo Santeria beads or whatever. Like he was part of some sort of like magicy thing. And everybody at the shop is pretty sure he did some sort of voodoo thing on the building, probably just to draw out his work, so he kept getting paid working there, like it never quite got done. But we didn't make any money that year, like almost none. I mean, the time I was there before, I was making easy, you know, plenty of money. But this time, I mean, I wasn't going into debt, but I didn't have enough money to fix my air conditioner in my car that whole year. And so a year comes and goes. You know, I can't go back to Nebraska. I can't. That tattoo shop offer was no longer on the table. So I literally went back to Las Vegas and treaded water for a year. Had nothing to show for it. And I was just kicking myself like, God, I'm sorry. I asked what to do and I totally didn't do it when you told me. You know, so that's the big lesson of that one. If you ask God what to do and God tells you what to do, you may as well do it, because guess what? Who's going to give you better advice? So anyway, so I ended up in Quartzsite, Arizona, which was kind of neat. In fact, I mean, I'd been there before. A very, very lovely time. A couple weeks. I was there. For, I mean, was several years before that. I had been there for a couple of weeks. Come on, focus, baby. I'd been there for a couple of weeks and made some really good friends. I mean, it was really fine. We built this big old fire pit. Well, they built it, but we all enjoyed it. And then, so I went back there and I was bumming a little bit, contemplative. And I go up to that place and there was some coals, smoldering coals still. There's a big old log there that hadn't been burned. But I put that on the coals. And it was like solstice, just before the solstice there. I put that log on there and kindled the fire. Well, that log, I had those coals going until after Christmas. So it was a proper Yule log from solstice till after Christmas. And so I took it as a little bit mystical. But I seriously was up there going, God, really this time? I'm sorry, but would you tell me what to do again, please? Pretty please? But I just, you know, I feel like I'm in God's good graces again. And after that, I did specifically feel very, very clearly directed to go open this smoke shop down the way. Came back and I was like, maybe I'll open a tattoo shop. And I was looking around. Rent's kind of expensive, you know. I mean, the fact is in Nebraska, I would have had a fully functioning tattoo shop with honors being right next to the good smoke shop. Whereas here it would have been that price just for a building, basically. I don't know, you know. I didn't know what to do. So I was shopping around and I found this little spot for just like $6.25 a month with cam fees. I mean, that's cheap. And I was very clearly directed, get that and open a shop there. Boom. But I couldn't open a tattoo shop, a smoke shop, because I had been teasing the idea of opening a smoke shop called Three Wizards for a while. Because my friend was so successful. I didn't think about the fact that Las Vegas has one on every single corner. You know. But live and learn. So I opened this shop. And hey, I was kind of treading water there, just figuring it out. You know, how do you run a retail store? I'm not a retail-minded person. And then, you know, time went on, and I got these crazy freaking neighbors. Crazy-ass neighbors. A cult moved in above me. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hebrew Israelites, the black Israelites, other people call them. They dress in purple and gold, and they're militant and are racist. Seriously, it's a bunch of black people who think that they're the real Jews. And they're racist against black people from Africa, white people, Asians, and Middle Easterners. Everybody else can be included in their clique. But those people I just listed, God hates them, they say. And so they actually have this us against them mentality. And here I am, some white guy who's a wizard. Like, I'm all into people, religion, all that stuff. So they show up and so, oh, a church, hey, what's up? Here's some incense. What's going on? And they were just kind of like, all right, you know, what's up? Hey, what's your belief? Jewish, but you're not Jewish. Okay, cool, man. But slowly it became clear that they were this racist cult, and they're mean. I mean, seriously, look up Israel United in Christ, IUIC Las Vegas, and just watch some of their videos. I mean, just to talk about these fools is to make fun of them. It's just that bad. I mean, even describing their ideology is like, sounds like you're making fun of them, because it's that outlandish. But these people would leave, our trash thing was never so messy. They would just leave piles of trash. And they must have been drinking like a ton up there. So there's all these empty alcohol bottles and trash. I'm not kidding you. The trash would just pile up. I literally called the management company half a dozen separate trash piles. It would get to the point where it was a trash pile. And like, I figured eventually someone would do something about these crazy people. But in the end, somebody said, why don't you just move? And part of me was thinking, well, then they'll win. But then the other part of me said, oh, well, that's not a bad idea. And I can have a tattoo shop. So I did. I moved, and now I have a tattoo shop. So it's good. Man, they were horrible. Like, literally, on Saturdays, they would fill up the entire parking lot. This one guy, one time I said, hey, I learned this trick from a Brazilian. The trick is if you want someone to do something different, you say, it would be better if. And then you tell them what you want them to do. And it's, as long as you don't interrupt the silence, it works. Magic. But I interrupted the silence this time. Guy parked in the last freaking parking spot right in front of my building. I say, it would be better if you left a couple spaces for me open. And there was silence, and he said, yeah. And then I started talking, and then he's like, my people, this is my family. Fucking whatever, man. Like, and he's like, I have a couple businesses, and you know, I don't see you doing much. You don't even need parking spaces. You don't do enough business. It matters. What? Fucking crazy ass motherfucker. Seriously, these people are horrible. They say it's right to wish evil upon your enemies, who in their case is all white people and black people from Africa and Asians and Middle Easterners. They're really a racist cult. It's so weird because they're literally stealing somebody else's outdated religion to defend their racism. It's so ridiculous. And then you got the Talmud, which is a racist book. But then they adopted some of the Talmud because, like, you know, some of the Talmud is still being written. None of them speak Hebrew. They all just basically like to hear that they're the chosen ones and that everybody else is filth in their eyes. Now, according to their idea, I don't know how I got talking about them, but in their ideology, God, there's no heaven and hell. God doesn't like white people. God didn't put white people in charge because they have some sort of something to offer the world or because he likes them. No. According to them, he put white people in charge to punish them because they weren't keeping his laws. I actually watched their videos, and I could basically preach their ideology because I watched enough of their videos. Because, you know, you have to sometimes make a study of your adversary, which these people became an adversary. It was funny, one time I got one of them to thank me. It was a priceless moment. Like, I was out in the parking lot because I'd pick up trash out there because of my parking lot. And I found one of their IDs, like a work ID, like with a picture on it. And I recognized the guy because he's always out. Like, when they first moved in there, somebody apparently had like undone a bunch of bolts on one of the wheels. And the wheel flew off while they were driving. I mean, scary, dangerous, you know. But then they suspected everybody then. It was so funny because every time they'd have a click, they'd be out there like they had these bracers, like fucking looking mean. And then like checking all the wheel nuts on the wheels and stuff. I mean, like, I would never do something like that, of course. But they were like looking at me like maybe I did it. You know, so freaky. So I recognize the guy as one of the guards or whatever they call those people. They call them officers and stuff like that. They're just ignorant fools. In fact, they're ignorant fools. They just are. And but I found his badge, so I put it up on the stair where I knew he'd find it. And then like a week later or whatever, I saw him and said, "Hey, did you get your ID?" He's like, "Oh." He's like, "ID? Oh, yeah, thanks." got me to thank me. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, fool. Anyway, it's so ridiculous, so ridiculous. Anyway, so I moved, and now I have a tattoo shop. I'm still kicking myself, though. Like, seriously, God handed it to me on a golden platter. I could have literally worked that business. It was right on 27th Street in Lincoln. I was thinking, when I was there, I was like, dude, you should call this 27th Street Tattoo, because 27th Street went all the way south to Saltillo, all the way beyond north. So you could have put, and there was giant commercial developments way north and a giant commercial development way south, and this was right in the middle. So you could do a tattoo shop called 27th Street Tattoo in the middle. A year later, put one way south. A year later, put one way north. All three would be on 27th Street. 2 + 7 is 9. That's lucky. But I mean, golden platter. I could have literally easily worked it for 2 years, gotten another tattooer in there, and gone to Prague and had somebody run my little tattoo shop. It was easy, 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 easy. And I don't know. Unfortunately, I do that in life sometimes. I vaguely ask for something. I ask for something, and I'm given it in spades. And then I'm like, I don't know what's in my mind, but I'm always thinking about tomorrow. I'm learning. Anyway, if you ask God what to do and God tells you, do it, man. Do yourself a favor and just do it. Like it was clear as day. It was literally formally offered to me twice. And as that was happening, I was saying to him, yes, I was told by God to do this. I just thought it'd be easier the other way, and it wasn't. It was like going from the freeway to the swamp. Anyway, we live blessed lives. I'm eating watercress. It's my new. It's so spicy. It's spicy to the point if you eat a big old mouthful, you can get a little headache from it. Or at least I do. But if you watch nutritionfacts.org and you want to protect your DNA, you too will chew on watercress.